findings on loneliness and how important they are both for men and women suggest that the emotional connection, that the social connection with that intimate other is channeled into, becomes an emotional connection that when it works and works well, leaves people feeling connected with part of a group, supported emotionally. Those loneliness findings that we saw suggest that when married people don't feel, and this is not very common, but it happens, don't feel connected, that in spite of being married, then the costs are very high in both their physical health and their emotional health. And that support from others, being able to rely on people, being able to talk to people is extremely important, and it's extremely important for especially men, and especially married men. So the hard part of it is, the hard part of all this research for me is thinking about, if we think that marriage as a social institution is good for people. It's good for adults, it's good for men, women, it's good for children. More than that, it's good for communities. How do we encourage and support marriage? And I don't mean marriage-like relationships. I don't mean alternatives to marriage, but marriage as a legally, socially, religiously recognized institution. What can we do as a community? What can we do as a society to increase the chances that young people want to marry, help them find appropriate people to marry, help them form successful marriages, help them develop the skills to be a good husband or wife. And in contemporary American society, I think that's a big challenge. And I'm afraid that while I have some ideas, I don't have good answers. We live in a culture that I think does not value marriage, where celebrities, many celebrities, have children, form relationships, and influence young adults without getting married. The legal system now makes, I think, it harder to form marriages that are supported by the legal system. No-fault divorce means that everybody who gets married knows that their spouse could leave at any time for any reason, and there's nothing that they can do about it. That fundamentally changes people's choices, makes it much harder for people to invest in marriage, makes it much smarter for them to invest in themselves, and in and of itself increases the chances that people divorce. Absent changes in no-fault divorce, that force makes it much more difficult for people to form lasting marriages. And there are other forces like that at work. So I'm afraid on that score, I don't have solutions. But I think that if the extent to which people know that marriage is an institution which benefits them, then in the long run, and maybe with a lot of work and a lot of talk, attitudes toward marriage will, in the general society, change to be more supportive, more protective, as a society as a whole, and I would hope that people would become more aware of this valuable institution, both for themselves and for society as a whole. Thank you very much.